Okay, we've still got people with us. Thanks for staying tuned for this Q&A we've got with Lem. I'd just like to open up my can. I've been dying to have a drink. Lem, cheers. So first of all, just to say cheers to everyone. In the call here, you can probably see Jeff Hudson. Jeff has done an amazing job making all of this happen. I'm just trying to adjust my settings. I don't have to read a script now, which is really nice.
Oh, isn't it?
It's really good. So we've also got Alistair Beach here with us, who's done all the social media. Hi, Alistair.
Hey, Alistair.
Lisa Govey, who's looks like a shadow. You're really dark. It's probably deliberate knowing Lisa. And Andrew York, this is the man from Earlham. Show us your studio, Andrew. Unbelievable. This man, he's been in his kitchen with his kids running around with all this equipment, which luckily hasn't got stolen. He lives in Earlham, let's face it. And he's just done an amazing job. Andrew, thanks a lot. People probably thought we're in a studio. Lem, should we turn off our backgrounds, actually? I'm going to turn mine off.
He's
there you go. Look, I'm in Whalley Range in Manchester.
Let me turn mine off. Hold on. When I can see myself,
while you're working out how to do that, just to say, we've also got Edward Astle, who's joined us.
Hi, Edward.
Fantastic. While you're working out how to do that, just to say, we've also got Facebook coming through on this. So I don't know if somebody's watching it on.
Somebody's watching Facebook Live at the same time. Yes.
Well, if Edward's doing that, if you can stop Facebook, Edward, because it's coming out through our channels. That's fantastic. Yes. So thank you everyone for staying behind. I know we've still got quite a number of viewers, and really I just wanted to have some reflections first of all. I'll bring Edward in a moment, but Lem, just over to you a moment. I mean, this was a bit crazy, wasn't it, doing this from a lockdown studio? How did it feel for you?
Well, do you know, I should be on BBC Two right now at this moment, and the programme like this was done via Zoom. And what I've noticed about this is that it brings a whole set of different production values and a different relationship between the audience and the prizes and the event. So the way you've done it by using me and you presenting from the lockdown with these things behind us, and then you anchoring the program, it actually really works. It actually really works. It's just a different way of doing it. And maybe it's the future. The only thing I'm missing, Julian, is we had some really good food at those do's at Whitworth Hall. So I think we should all, everybody should cook and bring their food while they're no, maybe that doesn't work. But still, what this production is an interesting kind of thought experiment in communicating to the brilliant alumni of Manchester and students, teachers, lecturers, researchers, etc. Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah, I mean, the thing for me, I don't know about you, Lem, we do a lot of these events, don't we? And you've got the audience in front of you. So that kind of keeps you on your toes. You get a bit of feedback. When you're just speaking into a room, I'm here in my house on my own tonight. It's a bit weird, isn't it?
It's kind of surreal, It's kind of surreal. But there's something about it. We are engaging in a medium which is the future. So I mean, in many ways, this is a dry run for for other things in future. So you are right; it is surreal.
Yeah, I'm going to put some questions to you, Len, which you've had on Facebook Live. Before I do that, Alistair, if you unmute yourself, I wouldn't mind because you've been in Facebook Live tonight, Alistair, looking at the event and looking at the comments and things. How did it go down, kind of from your point of view, just managing all of that? Were a lot of people commenting and?
Yeah, we've had, cheers, Julian, we've had over 200 comments, 250 comments on the live feed, so it's been really busy. We've got people from as far afield as Kenya dialing in and commenting, a lot of alumni commenting, a lot of students as well. So I've been really busy, and we've had loads of questions for Lem as well, which I think you've got a few there as well.
Yeah, so I'm going to see how many I can get through, Lem. It's 7:49. We've got 10 minutes of questions.
Do we have? Okay, yeah.
So I'll put them to you. And Kundai Gomwe has asked us, first of all, how has hosting the Making a Difference Awards impacted your poetry? Have any projects inspired you from doing them over the past few years?
In fact, Julian, your poem "Making a Difference" that you commissioned me to write was used in a book that was published and sold, and all of the money from it went to the NHS. It immediately sold out right at the beginning of the coronavirus lockdown. Also, the poem was used at one of the biggest investigations into the poisoning of blood, the infected blood inquiry, a massive inquiry. I read that poem on stage in the Houses of Parliament. So the reach of that Making a Difference poem that was commissioned by yourself and by the University of Manchester has actually been far and wide and continues to be.
Yeah, it was very good. So we have now got another question from Kirsty Cake, and she said, what do you think? Sorry, my WhatsApp.
I don't think anything.
Kirsty Cake, we know that. What do you think we can all do to stay connected across campus, local and global communities at this time? And we've been chatting about this, haven't we, about yourself, and how have you maybe, how can we all remain connected, including yourself?
I think this is a primary example of the university connecting us, although we're socially distanced. So, basically Zoom will connect us. The online world is no longer online. It is the real world. This is a real event. Those are real prizes. Those are real projects that we're talking about. So, wherever there is a problem with connecting, we will find innovative ideas to connect. And that's what happens with minority groups and groups that are under pressure. Where there is a will, there is a way. I know that sounds very general, but we are right now speaking through a medium of connection that we never thought would have happened until we needed it to happen.
Yeah. And then I've got a similar sort of question from Jackson Langali, and he says, what's the 3 most important lessons you've learned during this time of pandemic? 3 really quick lessons.
Be kind to yourself.
Yep.
Be kind to others. And I think the biggest lesson is that it's helped me understand where the priorities lie in my life.
Yeah. Good answer. And then I've got one from Sami Al-Janabi. It says, other than this event, does Lem have another favourite event that you'd usually like to attend?
Oh my God. I mean, I would have been... my favourite event is at reading poetry in Addis Ababa in Ethiopia. I don't know if that's what I've had to cancel events around the world. I love going to Galway. I mean, one of the beautiful to Ireland. One of the beautiful things about the University of Manchester is how far and wide the alumni stretch. I can be reading on stage from my books anywhere in the world, and there will be university alumni of Manchester there, whether that's Bali, whether that's the United States, Africa, India, China. I mean, it's been wonderful being Chancellor to see how wide the reach is of this university. I feel really honoured to be part of this team.
Yeah, thanks. And I think one of the things I was conscious of this week, I think it's supposed to start, you had your gig in Brighton, a really big one. I've got a lot of friends in Brighton, and they were looking forward to seeing you. Tell me what kind of got cancelled there.
Yeah, I was the guest director of the Brighton Festival, and that's a festival that has over 200 events in 100 venues. Original commissions, international artists coming from all over the world. It's a massive operation. Yesterday, I'd sold 600 tickets in February to perform at the Brighton Dome. That's only one of the things that has fallen through in this month of Corona. But, we are at the Social Responsibility Awards, and it's really worth looking at people who are worse off than yourself in this situation, and that helps to put it all in context, to count one's blessings, and to help others as well. This whole situation has reminded me that if I'm okay, then somebody else is not, and I need to reach out, which is after all what the what the Making a Difference Awards are all about. It's a good time for this awards, funnily enough.
Yeah, it's interesting. When we were thinking of, when the whole lockdown happened, the first thing we had to ask is, are we going to go ahead with the awards? Because, it could have been 1 in 10 people in Britain could have died, or you didn't know at the time, did you? And so we had to keep it under review. And we were thinking, no, what? Actually, we really need this to go ahead. It's almost the reason to have the awards, even if that had happened. I still think we'd be here tonight, strangely.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
I sort of think you need to carry on, don't you? But then obviously it would have been difficult. And I think things...
But we are part of it, Julian. That's it. The beauty of the University of Manchester, it's part of the solution. All of these things at the social response, these awards are finding solutions to problems that happen to all of us, but to disadvantaged communities around the world and locally and nationally. And, at a time of great stress, it's not the BAFTAs, it's not an award for an artwork. It's an award for making a difference.
Yeah.
There's never any time that is not important.
Yeah, I'll come back to that in a moment about reflections about which things you saw tonight, because I don't know about if you're the same as me. It's hard to remember all the detail, but we practiced it a bit, and there's some amazing projects. Have a think about that. But while you're doing that, Andrew and Jeff, I was just reflecting really on, within the university, we've all had to work from home, as millions of people around the world are. In your type of job, which relies on loads of technical equipment, I mean, my impression was you really enjoyed this challenge, but it was a bit stressful as well, wasn't it, trying to do it? Have you got any thoughts you'd want to share about what happened behind the scenes?
It was stressful. It looks so smooth when you watch it back on Facebook.
I don't know about that.
It's like a swan. We're paddling away like mad underneath. But yeah, it was a really interesting challenge for us, and we all really enjoyed it. It's taken up a good 4 or 5 weeks of our time, and yeah, it's been great to get stuck into.
Yeah, and I think, as you say, is that a swan's a great analogy, because what we're obviously in the Zoom, which is quite messy for people who use Zoom, they'll know that. So there's a limited number of us in Zoom, but that was being sent out, obviously. So the vast majority of people just saw this thing on Facebook Live. But for us in here, it sort of felt quite stressful, to be honest. I was quite glad for it to get over, but I'm always glad when it finishes. It's a bit like getting married, isn't it? You're supposed to look forward to it, but it's like a really stressful thing. Andrew, what about you in Earlham then, with all your gizmos and your gadgets on your table? Tell me about that.
Yeah, see, I just have to unmute him.
It's muted. Yeah. Oh, you're controlling his voice, you, Jeff. Still, this is the beauty of this. Jeff can just cut him off. Andrew, tell us about your gizmos and your kitchen. He's just can't get him in, can we? Look, we anyway. We maybe come back to Andrew. He's maybe he's meditated now. He's just found it so stressful tonight.
I think potentially not. It's not coming through.
Yeah, no worries. Lem. So,
my
I
friend,
know it's hard to remember stuff, but are there things that jumped out to you tonight?
Yeah, the winner for the Outstanding Contribution to Public Engagement Award for the person who co-curated an exhibition with the Partition Museum in India. The reason I like that is because I know the woman who made a documentary on the World Service and on the BBC, where she interviewed the members of the Indian community in the north of England, actually, about how the partition affected them, and they'd never been asked before. Yeah. And they didn't tell their children, who have gone on to education, etc., many at the University of Manchester, but they'd never been asked before about what was one of the most traumatic experiences for any Indian. India being the largest democracy in the world, split. A lot of people died, etc., etc. So that co-curated exhibition with
amazing
in Calcutta, and it's relevant to Manchester,
absolutely
relevant to the Northwest, and it's relevant to the nation, and it's relevant to the world. It's national and international. Sorry.
Very quick one word answer, Lem. What does the NHS mean to you? Is one of the questions that came in from Angela Francis. One word.
Wow. what does the NHS mean to me? Well, I guess the NHS means that I can live a little bit longer, and we all can. And I think right now we are recognizing the magnificence of a group of people who go to work to save lives, and while at the same time knowing they're putting their own at risk. We didn't know that about the NHS. We thought they were helping us, right? But we didn't realize that they were also putting themselves in danger. That's heroic.
Yeah.
We talk about people who go to war as heroes, but here we're seeing heroes in action.
Yeah. So it's 8 o'clock. The whole nation is going to clap for the NHS. That's a really nice time to do it. So we can do that here instead of going out into our streets.
I can open my window.
Yeah. I need to actually go outside. We're playing like a gig at 8 o'clock every Friday, and I'm on guitar. So I've got to actually go and do that now. But that's a really good time to finish.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Lem, thanks. Andrew, Jeff, Alistair, you're a star. I know we haven't got Lisa with us now, but amazing team. Hopefully that's been quite nice for people to hear a bit more about Lem. If you want to hear more about him, obviously he's on Facebook and Twitter.
Yeah.
On all of those things as well. He had a TV program on tonight, which you can see on iPlayer, I presume, Lem. So
it's front row late. Yeah.
Stick Lem to say.
And by the way, Julian, I'm wearing a badge on that program on the BBC at the same time, making a difference.
So let's do a collective clap and say good night. I'm gonna click leave the meeting for the last time. Thanks very much for joining us. Great stuff. Good night.